Hi, my name is Sky Gilmore. I'm 18 years old and I just matriculated. On the 3rd of January 2021, I tested positive for COVID-19. At first, my symptoms were really mild, but progressively got worse. I started having constant headaches, body pains, and soon after that, I started struggling to breathe.
I woke up this morning and I was struggling to breathe, and right now my chest just hurts and I'm crying because it's scary.
My throat closed again. I had to nebulize and stuff. I still haven't sent my oximeter. There are times where I'm fine and then all of a sudden it just happens, and it seems to be mostly at night and in the morning, and I don't know why. I can't taste, which I've accepted because that's going to be a side effect for up to 4 to 6 months. I won't be able to taste and smell certain things. At the moment, I'm really struggling to breathe. It hurts. Yeah, and my pulse is 85 and my heart rate 120, and my dad wants to take me to the doctor.
When I found out I was positive, obviously I was scared, but I also felt a bit relaxed as I knew I'm healthy and I'm young, and from the other teenagers who've had it, mostly just had a headache, so I assumed it would have been like that for me as well.
So I'm back home. They took my blood. It's really sore the way it's strapped, but it has to be that tight. So my test for my lungs came back and it was all clear, which is really, really good. But he also then took my blood because I have extreme pressure on my chest, which is what COVID does, you know. I have extreme headache, but I can't have too many medicine because it isn't very good for me. The hardest part is not being able to stand up without pulling myself up on my sliding doors, or not being able to open up my water and make cold drinks.
I'm a very family-orientated person, so not being able to have my family with me when I was sick or when I had to go to the hospital was a really, really difficult thing to do. I also missed out the first few days of matric, and I never got the opportunity to mentor my grade 8s, and I never got the matric year every child dreams of having.
So my almost stopped here, and my cousin Yasi and Mando, and I can't see any of them, and it made me so sad. To my legs. The first day of matric, which is whatever, but I'm supposed to meet my little grade 8s and show them around the school and stuff, and I can't do that. I don't know how long I'm still gonna feel so sick.
During my COVID isolation, I felt very scared, I felt very lonely, but I soon realized that I have to grow up overnight, as only I can fight this battle by myself and no one can do it for me. It was really difficult for me to be alone. As the days progressed, I started to have this rash on my chest, on my legs, and we sent it to the doctor as we thought maybe it's COVID related, but at first he said it wasn't, and he said I might have an autoimmune disease, and therefore I had to go for some more bloods to go and see what the rash is on my body.
I have a rash on my legs, don't know what it is. The doctor or my dad says it could be the COVID, like that it's leaving my body and stuff, but I don't know what it is. Last night, remember I said the rash on my legs, we sent it to my doctor, and then he came back and he said it's not COVID related, which means I have to go do bloods again on Friday because they think I might have an autoimmune disease, which is why, because COVID, which could be why I'm struggling so much with this COVID, because my immune system is actually very weak. It's the next morning, my body just feels stuffed like after training. Today my uterus here, I don't know, ribs. Okay, so I just cried my eyes out. I did, because I had to do exercises because my body, and it broke my heart, like I couldn't do anything, and it was so sore. So I just woke up
him. I've never felt so close to anything in my life. It's the only thing that's taller than me that I can hug. So I just showered and I was okay. And then I hit a total blackout. I can't record when those things happen, but I just hit blackout, and you can actually see where I fell.
The one morning I woke up and I realized I couldn't move any of my toes on my left foot. I was scared and felt very confused and very overwhelmed. Me and my family at first thought it's just muscle fatigue, as that is a symptom of COVID. Your muscles do tend to weaken. But as soon as it started moving up to my knee and then to my thigh, and it felt like my legs started to turn into rock, we rushed to the doctors and he then booked me into hospital.
So this is the leg. So if I walk, it's like that. And if I try to stand on it, it goes like this. And I don't understand what's wrong with it. But I just thought I would show that this is my issue right now. I can't do anything. I can't walk by myself. And it's getting worse. And it's so strange because it feels like it's turning into rock. Like it doesn't want to work with me, and my toes don't want to work with me. And it's just getting very overwhelming at the moment. So yeah, but they never took blood. As I walked in, my doctor looked at my leg and he said he's booking me into hospital. They're gonna do MRIs and nerve stuff and see what is wrong with my leg, my foot. They don't know what's going on, so better I just go to hospital. Auntie Irma is there, so I'll have somebody to talk to.
When I got to hospital, no one really knew what was wrong with me, and they did multiple tests. They first did a lot of bloods. They'd wake me up 3 a.m. in the morning and they'll come and take my blood. After that, they did MRIs, one in my neck and then my back, and then they decided to do a lumbar puncture.
I went for the MRI. It seems I have inflammation in my neck, C5 and C6. Part of the spinal cord that's in control of your movement. So now they need to understand why there's inflammation. So for them to do that, they have to take more bloods again tomorrow and then do a lumbar puncture. We're not sure what's going to happen from there on further. But they say I'm on the right medicines. So yeah. Honestly, it's just scary that I can't have my parents here with me to do and go through all of this with me, or at least just hold my hand. So I'm a bit afraid, but I know that I'll be okay. So they're doing the lumbar puncture now. I'm so scared, and they put the drip in for pain, then they're going to inject my back to numb, and then I've got my teddy. And I've got Tannie Irma here with me. So yeah, I'm not sure if we'll be able to document how they do that though. I don't know if I'm allowed to. But yeah, I'll let you guys know what happens.
The next morning, when my neurologist came to visit me to see how I was doing after the lumbar puncture, he told me that I have acute transverse myelitis as a result of COVID.
It was really sore. I've never had pain like that in my life before, but it's okay. I'm lying flat down now because it's gonna give me a headache, so I just have to lie down flat.
Transverse myelitis is an autoimmune disease that attacks your spinal cord. The transverse myelitis attacked C5 and C6 of my spine and damaged the nerves in those specific areas, and that is the reason for my leg and my arm being paralyzed, because those parts of my spine were in control of my movement. So to stop the spreading of the transverse myelitis, my neurologist put me on 8 weeks of solumedrol drips. So every Saturday I'd go to hospital, I'd have an 8-hour solumedrol drip But before I had to go to my drips on Saturdays, I had to have a COVID test done on Thursdays to indicate whether I'll be going to a green or a red ward. So green ward means you are negative and red ward means COVID ward. And in total, I had 14 COVID tests. As a result of my solumental drips, my immune system was really weak and I got sick easier. But I really wanted to go to school as I hadn't seen my friends for a very long time. And that Thursday before I went for my drip, the following Saturday, I actually tested positive again. Now we will never know if I really tested positive again or if it was old cells retesting. But because I had a positive result, I had to go to the red ward, which was the COVID ward, for my drip that Saturday.
Tested positive for COVID again. Today it's a bit hard to be happy and positive about it. I'm missing out on my matric here.
After my lumbar puncture, it was really difficult for me to move. My mom is my best friend, and when we were separated whilst I had COVID and then had to go to hospital, it was the longest we hadn't been together. And I asked her if she could come and bath me. So she came to the hospital and she bathed me and she fed me and she sang to me, and just feeling her touch, having her there, was like the extra motivation I needed to continue fighting.
And then we're going to sleep in our bed for a week. Okay? I love you so much.
Love you
So much, Princess. You are so brave and courageous. And you are I love you so much. Okay? And there are so many people praying for you all the time. And supporting you, thinking about you. You've got the best doctors. And you're going to be fine, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Princess.
I love you,
Love
Mom.
you so much.
Love you too.
My dad bathed me when I got out of hospital. He washed my hair. But when I was still sick in isolation, my father was the one to take me to the doctors for oxygen. Almost daily he took me, knowing I'm positive. He risked his life for mine every single day. My dad also kept me grounded. Whenever I was scared, I would call and I would tell him I'm worrying, what is going on with me, and he always said that everything's okay and that everything's fine and there's nothing to be worried about. So he always just kept me calm. My dad really believed in me in times when I lost hope. My brother was a real pillar of strength to me. When I was in hospital, I often cried by him because I knew my parents were being strong for me. So I often cried by Slade, and he always told me that everything's okay, I'll be fine. He sent me funny TikToks and he always made me laugh. And when I came out of hospital, he sat by my bed late at night or early in the morning and he'd play guitar for me so I could sing with him. And he always just made everything feel so okay. So he was really my safe place during my time of being sick and stuff like that. My medical team advised that I should postpone my matric year. It was very stressful having to do matric when I was sick because I had to do it online, and then to top it all off, I had this brand new autoimmune disease in my life, and it was very hard for me to try and balance everything out and deal with the body pain and the headache and the studying and the everything like that. But I pushed through and I matriculated with an 82% average.
I'm at the hospital. I'm in a COVID ward. I'm in a room by myself, so I'll show you. There's no one else in my room, so I'm not by the other COVID patients, but I'm in their ward. So yeah. So I'm sanitizing my hands and everything 24/7. I've got my sanitizer right here, doing everything in my possibility to just stay clean, if that makes sense. Also, right now studying history. I have a test on Tuesday, which is about the Cold War, which is my favorite thing about history. I love it. So just gonna study that, get my mind off it a bit, read some of my English book called The North and South, because by Monday we have to be by chapter 12 and I'm trying to get there. It's very hard to catch up so much. Today's my last trip. I'm in my favorite section, which is section 3, in my little private room. There's no one sleeping there. I don't know if someone's gonna come, but this is my little place. And this is Faith.
she's been here with me since the start, so she has to be here for the final drip. Going home from hospital was very exciting, but I knew that the journey had only just begun. I had rehab, 11 months of physio and 11 months of occupational therapy. I started my journey in a wheelchair, then a walker, then a foot stilt and a walker, then 2 crutches and a foot stilt, 2 crutches and a leg brace, 1 crutch and a leg brace, 2 crutches and a foot stilt, 1 foot stilt and 1 crutch, and then no crutches. So it's been quite the journey. Dealing with the autoimmune disease, it changed my life drastically. I used to be very active. I was the captain of the first hockey team. I used to run 5 kilometers daily. I swam 150 laps in the pool. But now all of those things seem very impossible. Walking, it's really hard work for me, and swimming, I can't spend longer than 30 minutes in the pool. I used to do boxing, I can't do boxing anymore. When I was performing on stage, I used to be able to move and really put on a show. Now it's very difficult for me to do that. I'm in constant pain. I've been on a lot of different medication and treatments. I thought the more I'd get to know this new part of myself that it would become easier, but truthfully it hasn't become any easier, it's just become more difficult. For most matriculants, their goal is to get their drivers or to show their ID at clubs, you know, because we're 18. But my goal was just to walk down the red carpet at my matric farewell unaided. I hope this video raises awareness and shows people how daunting COVID really is, and that it's not just a flu. I hope it encourages people to get vaccinated, sanitize and wear your masks. As a fit and healthy 18-year-old girl, I never saw this coming. So yeah, I'd rather just be safe than sorry. I now realize that even though I was in isolation, I was never truly alone. I held on to my faith through praise and worship. I had overwhelming love and support from my family and friends, the most amazing teachers, and the absolute best doctor. And to you all, I say thank you.